Welcome to Impact News at Midnight. We are excited to share with you the history of Watch Night service and why we celebrate it.
Watch night service is rooted in African American religious traditions. During the first watch night, many enslaved African Americans gathered to pray, worship, sing, and dance. At the time, enslaved Black people could find little rest from ever-present surveillance, even in practicing their faith. White enslavers feared that religion, which was often used to silence slave resistance, could incite the exact opposite if practiced without observance. They wrote laws that restricted worship in large gatherings, such as that in the 1848 Georgia Slave Code, which reads as follows: "No person of color shall be allowed to preach, to exhort, or join in any religious exercise with any persons of color, either free or slave, there being more than 7 persons of color present."
They gathered at slave houses, on plantations, or in the woods. There, they practiced their faith under the covers of the trees and brush into what became known as brush harbors. As Charlotte Martin, a formerly enslaved woman from Florida, recounted, the plantation owner would not permit them to hold religious meetings or any other kind of meetings, so they had to meet in secret to conduct religious services. Charlotte's own brother was beaten to death for participation in such secret worship meetings, but enslaved people persisted and continued their faith practices as forms of resistance and freedom.
On December 31st, 1862, Frederick Douglass is quoted saying, "It is a day for poetry and song, a new song. These cloudless skies, this balmy air, this brilliant sunshine are in harmony with the glorious morning of the liberty about to dawn upon us."
On this same night, enslaved and free African Americans gathered, many in secret, to bring in the new year and await news that the Emancipation Proclamation had taken effect. Just a few months earlier, on September 22nd, 1862, President Abraham Lincoln issued the executive order that declared enslaved people in the rebelling Confederate States legally free. However, the decree would not take effect until the clock struck midnight at the start of the new year. The occasion, known as Watch Night or Freedom's Eve, marks when African Americans across the country watched and waited for the news of freedom. Today, Watch Night is an annual New Year's Eve tradition that includes the memory of slavery and freedom, reflections on faith, and celebration of community and strength. It is a continuation of generations of faith that freedom and renewal lies ahead.
Mount Zion, on this Watch Night, let us sing, dance, praise, and worship God for our history and our families, remembering that Jesus is the way. Our 2025 theme is Jesus is the way. Let us continue to seek Jesus in the new year. This has been Impact News at Midnight. Enjoy the service.